Welcome to T4G Sports. We're going to go over the win predictions for the weekend for college football. We're going to start out with Utah heading to Oregon to face the Oregon State Beavers, who ended up losing last week to Washington State. It was a great game. I will say that. It was a great game. I think Utah has the better team. I think Utah is a better team. I have a hard time, though, saying that Utah's going to win this one because Cam Rising's not in, and I just feel like it's just going to be difficult. Would I be shocked if they won? No. But I just think Oregon State's going to pull this one out. I think this is the game that Oregon State pulls out, and I think they beat Utah. Tug has Utah winning this one. You know, I agree that their team is better. I agree that they should win this game, but just without having Cam Rising, and people don't know exactly when he's going to come in. I mean, it's just like a mystery. And they've done great without him, but can you continue to play to that high of a level every single week? I'm just not 100% sure. I mean, total yards, Oregon State's averaging 459.5. Utah's 322. Yards allowed, 263, much less because Utah's defense is really good. Oregon State's allowing 327, but I don't know. I just feel like Oregon State's going to pull this one out. So we got Northwestern facing Penn State. We both have Penn State winning this one. I just don't think Northwestern has it in them. I think Penn State's too good of a team. So big-time matchup here that's not really a big-time matchup. We got USC versus CU. I have USC winning this one, but I want to see CU at least post 21 to 28 points. If they don't, I'm not going to be super confident in their team. Right now, CU's just allowing way too much on defense. 475 yards per game is what they're allowing, and they have not played that many teams that have stellar offenses. Nebraska's offense is cheeks. CSU's offense is Group 5, not very good. Oregon is a good offense. TCU, pretty good offense, but you're allowing one of the most yards of any defense in college football, and it's one of the worst defenses in college football. And Deion Sanders, will give him credit. He's still 300% better than what CU was last year, so he's already won the season. However, you still need to score points, even though you're probably going to lose by big numbers against USC. You still need to score points on USC because their defense is utter trash. San Jose State scored 28 points, and Arizona State also scored 28 points. So I do think that they'll lose by probably 20 points or so, but I want to see CU at least score 21 to 28 points on this atrocious USC defense, but we have USC taking the dub. Big matchup here between Kentucky and Florida, and these two teams are strange. Very strange teams, and the reason they're strange is because one's 4-0, the other one's 3-1, and they are just up and down. Florida plays great when they're playing at home. They play terrible when they're away thus far. We don't know exactly what we're going to get out of Florida. I mean, Florida gets beat up by Utah, then plays McNeese, which I didn't even know was a school. They beat up on Tennessee. Then they struggled against Charlotte, which Charlotte is just not good. I mean, you look, they scored, it was 16-7 in the first half, and then Florida couldn't really do much in the second half. It was three points in the third quarter and 3 points in the fourth quarter. And it just didn't look good. So, I mean, this one is very, very tough to pick who's going to win here, because in reality, you just don't have a clue what kind of Florida team you're going to get. I think Florida should win this one. I really do. But Kentucky at home, I think I'm going to go Kentucky at home. It's tough because Leary throws so many interceptions. Devin Leary just is an interception beast. So, yeah, I'm going to go Kentucky at home on this one. Tug has Florida on this, so we'll see who pulls it out. I think Florida could definitely win this one. It's really tough. These two teams just don't give you enough consistency to be able to give them a true grade on who's going to be able to, win this game. I mean, it's just tough. It's very tough. Okay, first things first, when it comes to the Nebraska-Michigan game, Nebraska needs to just do better. Matt Rule needs to do better, in my opinion. You lost to CU because of your quarterback Sims. It's very simple. You left your defense out on the field the entire game. You kept turning the ball over and over and over and over. And in areas where I thought it was unacceptable. I mean, your quarterback Sims fumbling shotgun snaps, that usually happens when they go under center. If you fumble 2 shotgun snaps back to back, basically, and you are my quarterback, you're out. At least for a good portion until I can trust you. Because then right afterwards, he throws an interception at like the 15-yard line, on their own 15-yard line. And they still keep him in there. And I was like, I don't know how bad your quarterbacks are that are backups. I have no idea. But apparently they're so atrocious that you allow one quarterback to just destroy your team. Literally destroy them. And there's no reason they should have lost to CU. They shouldn't have lost to Minnesota. Nebraska, if you look at their team stats, 359 total yards is what they get per game, right? Michigan's at 405. Look at the passing and rushing with Michigan and Nebraska. They're relatively close, but they're flipped, right? Total yards, they don't. Nebraska does not allow a lot of passing yards. They allow more rushing yards, or they don't have as much passing yards. They have a lot more rushing yards, and it's vice versa for Michigan. If you look at the yards allowed, obviously Nebraska's not as good as Michigan, but they're not. If you look at Nebraska and think about Nebraska, you're thinking that they're way far off of Michigan, but these numbers don't say that. And speaking of which, they've played relatively the same amount of talent. Nebraska's probably even played slight bit more because Michigan's only played Rutgers. Aside from that, they've played all like Group 5 opponents. Nebraska's at least played Power 5 opponents. So Nebraska should be doing better. And you're just not seeing it from Nebraska, and it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. So I have Nebraska losing this one. Tug has Nebraska losing this one. Matt Rule, I would hate to see Michigan come into your stadium, pull down their drawers, and plop one right in your guys' forehead. So hopefully you guys make this a ball game of sorts. But we still have Michigan pulling this one out. So we got Georgia facing Auburn. I have Georgia winning this one. Tug has Georgia winning this one. I think Georgia could also lose this one. I think Georgia has an ability to just not play as good of football as they need to play. The problem is that Auburn is utter cheeks. And if you're an Auburn fan, I mean, you're like, man, come on. You guys know. I mean, it's not fun being an Auburn fan. God bless you guys who are Auburn fans, because you guys go out there and you give 110%, even when your team doesn't. And that's huge. I think Auburn fans, if you see someone walking around with an Auburn jersey, they deserve a high five. Right away. Give them a high five. I don't know what to say about Auburn other than they're like the Nebraska. They're worse than Nebraska. I can't even call them the Nebraska of the Big Ten because, I don't know, maybe they are. These two teams are like equal in that regard. Anyways, I don't want to talk about this game anymore. I'm sorry, Auburn fans and Nebraska fans. I think Georgia's going to win this one. I think you guys could upset them. I do, but you got to pass more than 173 yards a game. You have to. I mean, you gotta dominate Cal. Poor Auburn. Just keep at it, boys. So we got the Kansas Jayhawks going into the Texas Longhorns, Austin, Texas Stadium. And, I got Texas winning this one. Not by much. I think Texas could definitely lose. This one was tough for me. I kept going back and forth because Kansas beat BYU for one. BYU pink-bellied the living cheeks out of Arkansas. I believe at Arkansas as well. I got to check to make sure, but they pink-bellied them in front of their grandmas. I mean, they 38-31 at Arkansas. Oof, that's an embarrassing loss. Embarrassing. So I'm impressed with Kansas. I'm impressed with them. Texas, they're up and down. So I'm going to go with Texas just because I think they have a little bit more talent. But I'm telling you right now, if Jayhawks win, it's not going to shock me one bit. So we got the game of the week, Vanderbilt versus Missouri. Give them a round of applause. Everyone's just on the edge of their seats waiting for these Goliaths to square off. I'm just kidding. Vanderbilt fans, don't get silly. Okay, Missouri fans, hold up before you start cracking too big of a smile there. This game, what is this? Missouri is the worst 4-0 team I've ever seen in my life. How you beat up South Dakota, great. You struggled against mid-Tennessee State? No, come on. You can't do it. You beat Kansas State. All right, let's forget that they weren't actually supposed to be ranked 15th. Let's just neglect that, but it doesn't matter. You beat them. No one's going to talk about it. And then you struggled against Memphis. How dare you? I can't. Why is it that Missouri plays to the level of their opponent? Why? I mean, it could be a soccer team that rolls in and they're like, let's struggle. Why? I don't get it. So I have Missouri winning this game, but that's not impressive because Vanderbilt, what are you? People, it's astonishing that people actually are out there that buy this merch and they wear it. That's amazing that if you wear Vanderbilt merch, particularly if you didn't go to school there. God bless you. God bless you. Jesus owes you a favor. I mean, you beat Alabama A&M. Cool. Had no idea that was a team. No idea. Hawaii came from Hawaii and still almost beat you. That's like 500 years away. It took them 500 days to come to this game, and they still almost beat you. Jesus. That's amazing. Wake Forest annihilated you. Wake Forest? Ooh. Kentucky beat you. Okay. UNLV? How dare you? I could not imagine getting the head coaching job, the offer for the head coaching job of Vanderbilt. Oh, I would be very, very torn. Like, well, I want a head coaching job, but Vanderbilt? Ugh. So I don't hate Vanderbilt. I don't hate Missouri. I just hate this type of football, and I want to see these two guys just get to another level. So I have Missouri winning this one by 2 points, if that's 1 point. You know, somehow they're whatever it is, they're like, we got to keep it close. Hopefully they just blow them out, but Missouri's got to keep it close. It's in their contract apparently. So this would be called the bowl of who the hell are these teams? Ole Miss, their season's been going exactly how Lane Kiffin's face is in this video here. There it is. That's been the fans. That's what Ole Miss grandpas look like. You're just like, what the hell is this? You know, we used to be good at one point. And Ole Miss is talented, but they are just like a roller coaster. Continuous roller coaster. They beat Mercer. Great. I'm glad you beat Mercer. That was a real, nail biter there with a team that's FCS. And then you struggled against Tulane. For real, struggled against Tulane. You got 20 points in the fourth quarter. But in reality, that was like late in the fourth quarter. I mean, it was, as you see here, it was going purely like, hey, it's going to be Tulane. And then Ole Miss, some very fortunate things happened for Ole Miss. I'll give them this, though. They went and played at Tulane. I'll give you that. They went and played at Alabama and lost. It was a decently close game. They beat Georgia Tech. Okay. So Ole Miss has just kind of got this like up and down roller coaster ride. And then you got LSU. LSU played Florida State, lost, and then played Grambling, which, once again, FCS school, no idea they even existed. And I thought it was a chess school or something. I don't know. And then Mississippi State beat up on Mississippi State, and everyone was like, wow, this is a big win because Mississippi State's pretty good. Mississippi State's not good. And then they beat Arkansas by 3 points, and it was a nail-biter, and it was at home. I don't know who's going to win this one. I think it's honestly a toss-up because if LSU plays like they did against Arkansas, I feel like they're going to lose. Okay, but if they play like they did against Mississippi State, they're going to win. So, which team are you going to get? I really don't know. The matchup predictor has 56.6% Ole Miss. I picked Ole Miss to win yet the last week against Alabama. You hurt my feelings because Alabama's not playing that good, and you guys should have beat up on them. You had plenty of opportunity to do it, and your offense just can't seem to do it. Both offenses get a lot of yards, but both defenses give a lot of yards as well. Both these defenses are not they're not high-octane defenses. I feel like LSU's going to win this one, but then again, this is tough. I'm going LSU, and I'm doing it reluctantly. I'm doing it with 1 foot out the door because this one's tough. So LSU, that's what I'll pick, and I don't want to talk about this game anymore. I want to watch it just to see, but this game these two teams have just been frustrating me. I want to see them do something more. I really do. I want to see LSU get to that next level. I want to see Ole Miss get to that next level. And they're just like, nope, we got to keep messing around. I hate it. So then you have Stanford who's playing Oregon, and Stanford is just bad. You lost to Sac, for Christ's sake. Sac beat you. Sac sacked you. They were just sacking you all around. Sac State Hornets beat you. And they lost to Idaho Potatoes. I can't do it. Stanford, yes, I mean, Stanford's showing up to football games like they're going to win a spelling bee. I mean, geez, Christ's sake, Stanford. Oregon's going to win. So we got Oklahoma facing the Iowa State Cyclones, and I think Oklahoma wins this one. Tug has Oklahoma winning this one as well. Iowa State is just too inconsistent. You got to go play at Oklahoma. I just feel like they're going to win this one. I think Iowa State can score on them. I think that they can make it somewhat interesting, but I don't think it's going to go past that. So we got Duke versus Notre Dame. I think if it was at Notre Dame, I don't think Duke would stand a chance. I think Duke stands a better chance since it's at home. However, I still don't think Duke is going to win. Tug agrees with me on this. We have Notre Dame pulling this one out. I think Duke is a great football team. I think Duke is incredibly scrappy. I feel like they're like rebellious because everyone's like, you should suck. And they're like, no. You know, they're like, it feels like they're trying to like rebel against their parents or something. You know what I mean? Like they just show up with a red Corvette, a new tattoo or something. It says, I hate college. That's Duke for you, to me, in my eyes. You know, I just think Duke's just like rebellious. They're just scrappy. You know, they don't want to go down. They're never projected to win, but yet they continuously have been winning. So it's going to be interesting to see the game. I can't wait to watch it. But I think Duke's they just don't have enough power to truly stop Notre Dame. So it'll be really interesting, and I can't wait to watch Leonard. What does he do? Because that dude can run like a boss, man. He is a big dude, and he can run. And so we'll see. This is going to be an interesting game. So we got Tennessee facing the Gamecocks, and I think Tennessee's going to pull this one out. I think both these teams are struggling to find their identities, and it's just kind of been an up and downhill season for them. You know, they're not quite what they were last year. They're just not improving to the levels I think they should have, but it is what it is. So I think Tennessee's going to pull this one out, and it's going to be still a tight game. I think it's going to be a fight. Alabama taking on Mississippi State Bulldogs. I think Alabama wins this one. Alabama's starting to look a little bit better, not like great or anything like that. But Mississippi State's just they're not that great of a team. Are they good enough to be able to probably best Alabama if they play at their highest level? Yeah, I could see that. But you're going to have to play at your highest level to beat Alabama. Because Alabama's not the same Alabama of last year, but still, they're better than Mississippi State. We'll see, but I can't root against Alabama. I'm going to go Alabama on this. Tug's going Alabama as well. So we got Washington beating Arizona. Arizona just doesn't have enough in the tank, in my opinion. And Washington's just too dangerous on offense. So Washington's going to pull this one out, in our opinion.